Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to today's episode of Game Poke, the show where we cover gaming related topics and talk a load of old bollocks. And today's topic is, well, it's different. It's one I've wanted to cover for a while and just focus on gaming genres. And we're going to start with one that I ain't too fond of, actually. First person shooters. I have often said I find them boring. It's go here, look at that, shoot that, then go here, look at that, and shoot that, and it's the same shit. I found it more and more boring as I get older. But I have to say, in the past couple of years, that's changing. My opinion on it is changing, and it started, I think because of No Man's Sky. I really got into that game. I got into it so much. I played it like fuck for a solid year, and then I got into Minecraft. I've been playing that every weekend with friends. And yeah, I know it's not first-person shooter. Neither of them really are first-person shooter. No Man's Sky a bit. Minecraft a bit with the bow and the arrow, but not... You know, it doesn't concentrate on that shit. But then I got Terminator Resistance. And one, I'm a huge Terminator fan. Like, first film, awesome. Second film, awesome. Third film, you ruined it. Genesis, thought that was good. Dark Fate, I'm going to ignore Dark Fate. Alright, let's not get me rambling on that one. Not a good idea. But Terminator Resistance, I platinumed it. Got it for PS4 and I loved it so much that I got the platinum trophy, which to be fair, it's one of the easier platinum trophies, but you still have to put time into it. Anyway, it made me realise that I don't hate first-person shooters anymore. So I thought maybe I should check out what retro ones there are, because I've always found them a bit boring. I never really got any. I thought I would fix that, because the only one I've got that's retro, or at the time before doing this, it was the one you see on the screen there. It's Corporation, which is the first of our 5 games that we are going to look at today. So without further ado, let's have a look at Corporation. As you can see, the title screen is pretty badass. I don't know what that fucker is there, but it's pretty cool. Well drawn, you know. The music reminds me of The Thing. You know, John Carpenter's The Thing, the film. Very eerie, repetitive, yet not boringly repetitive, at least not to me. So the first things you witness are pretty cool. Then you get a story popping up in text. I mean, RoboCop vs. Terminator is one of my favourite Megadrive games ever, and the story in that starts in text. So this is fine. You know, so far, this is all fine. That changes the instant you go into the actual gameplay. First of all, you can choose your character, and I really don't have a fucking clue what's good and what's not, but I like the Terminator-y looking fucker, so I went with that. You can select equipment, but again, I don't know what's what, so fuck it. But it really won't matter to you, because when you get into the game, it's dull. It's really dull. The graphics suck. I mean, yeah, they're kind of 3D, but let's face it, they're really not. All of the walls are grey. All of the ceilings are a type of grey. You know what? It looks like the council came along and painted this fucking place. It's meant to be in some laboratory major institute building. Have they not heard of colours? Have they not heard of textures? I mean, it's pretty shit. But I could get over that. I could. If it wasn't so fucking slow. Moving around is a chore. Aiming at things is a chore. The crosshair in the middle does what it wants. You don't aim that. It'll either focus on a target or it fucking won't. You have, like, no power over it. As far as I can tell, you have no power over it anyway. The enemies are mediocre. The music no longer holds any charm. It's just arse. I've actually done a Let's Play of this game, like, years ago. It was one of the first ones I did. One of the first requested games I did, I think. Maybe? Not sure. If you want to know, there's a link in the description so you can check that out. And when you die, you're delighted with this "you got fingered by Freddy" bullshit. I guess Freddy is the cunt that's on the front there. Maybe. I mean, they share the same skin colour, but let's face it, the game doesn't have much imagination, so that could be just the detail the shit gets. Anyway, Corporation. It's wank. I wouldn't buy it if I were you, but I will say that the cartridge is pretty cheap. I got this one for $5. Mind you, I got it for $5 a few years ago, so it may even be more than that now. Megadrive prices have risen, according to Mike Retro Gamer Boy. So, if you care what he thinks, then that's what he thinks. If you don't care what he thinks, then go to his channel and say, Sega Head says you're a knob lolly. Speaking of Retro Gamer Boy, the next game on our list, number 2, is one he highly recommended. Bloodshot. So I got hold of the cartridge, thought, you know what, I'll try it. And I have to say, it's so much better than Corporation. You can tell just by looking at the fucking thing. The title screen is awesome. The Corporation title screen was about the only fucking good thing in that game, aside from the music, kind of. But here, it's just like, this is just the start of it. This is some of the awesome things you're going to see. The graphics are so much more detailed. The game is sped up. Not tremendously so, but enough so it doesn't piss me off. So that's a good start. Already you get to try out a different sort of array of weapons. Just like instantly there's tons of shit to try out. First level of the game, no fucking around. Here's a bunch of stuff you can try out. Yay. While the frame rate can be a little annoying, it's not bad and you do get used to it pretty sharpish. It's the colour that matters. It's such a visual treat here. If you've just played Corporation before playing this, it'll have much more of an impact as it has done on me. Also, you may have noticed, quick look back at Corporation, there was a lot of crap on the screen that was completely irrelevant to what was going on. I mean, you could never figure out what the fuck all of this shit was in Corporation. But in Bloodshot, it's much more minimalistic. It focuses on what's fucking happening in the game, where you're moving, where you're going, what you're doing, what you're killing, and that's how it should be in a first-person shooter. It's not about all the pony around it, it's about the game. Also, the fact that you've got a little map in one of the corners of the screen is just so fucking useful. Corporation, I know I keep going back to Corporation, but I think that's like a good way of saying how a game shouldn't be, and this is how it should be. There's a little map in the corner. Corporation, there wasn't a map. You got to unlock the fucking map at some point, but it was never there on the screen as you went, and it was just trash. It didn't answer any questions of, where the fuck do I go? Here, much more helpful. You actually get to have a bit of a clue. So one of the weapons you get is like a spread gun. It reminds me of Contra a bit. Just already making the game so much easier. I'm not saying this game holds your hand. It's not like that at all, no. It's just not super challenging at the start of the fucking game. It's not like, level 1, fuck you. It's like, level 1, here you go, please enjoy this, it'll get tougher as you go. Again, Bloodshot is a game of how a first-person shooter should be. I highly recommend you try this one out. I don't see any point in waffling on about this one anymore. Next one is one that, there's a good chance many of you have never heard of. Star Cruiser. And you wouldn't think it to look at the title screen. It's a Japanese game. If you couldn't figure it out from the shape of the cartridge, yes, this is Japanese. And to my knowledge, this game only came out in Japan, I think. So that's shit. Because if you have a look at it here, there's loads of RPG elements, and it's really cool the way the art's done, the music, everything about this. Music, graphics, gameplay, it's all cool. Slight problem, obviously this has got a lot of Japanese and I can't read that, so I don't know how to play the game. But you could probably find a translated, emulated version somewhere, I don't care. I like traditional stuff. This was cheap because of course it's unplayable over here, so let's just check out the cool stuff quickly. Graphics, look at this. That's fucking awesome. Music, listen to this. Not bad. And again, if you could figure out what these bastards are saying, I'm sure it would be really cool. It's got a bit of a Phantasy Star feel to it. Maybe like Phantasy Star Online if it was 2D. I hope that makes sense. But with the first person shooter side of things, it's not as much of a visual treat as Bloodshot. Because it's kind of like half that and half Corporation. Corporation had grey walls with nothing on it. Bloodshot had some really detailed walls without overdoing it. Star Cruiser has got walls with only one thing going on, and it's just texture, and it's an insane amount of it. It actually is a bit of an eye fuck. I mean, look at it. That's not nice, is it? I mean, it's obviously better to look at than the boringness of Corporation, but it's not good. It's not really. The ships, it's fucking Starwing or Star Fox. Depending where you're from. So you get to choose one of these ships. I have no idea what either of them do. Maybe one's easy mode, maybe one isn't. Maybe it's just, do you want the grey one or the red one? And then you get thrown into the gameplay, and it's a bit like a Star Wars Rebel Assault game where you can go all over the shop. So already, there's tons of things to this game. But there is one slight problem. I didn't know how to play it, and I died almost fucking instantly. I would love to show you more of the game, because I know this game's got a lot of hidden potential. But it's going to stay hidden, because I just can't read Japanese, I can't get any further. But if you want to find out more about the game, or see if there's an emulated, translated version, which there's just gotta be, Look for it. Star Cruiser. I mean, the most confusing thing about the lot, title screen's in English. Why would the Japanese have a game where the title screen's in English? It's a genuine card. That there's taken from this. I haven't downloaded that picture from Google or anything. That picture is a screenshot from this, from the gameplay you're seeing and seen. Loads of Japanese games do this. I will never understand it. Now, game number 4. Now, number 4, you would think I would save this one till last, but I'm not going to do it like that. This is apparently the best first-person shooter on the Megadrive. According to everyone I've asked, Mike Retro Gamer Boy says it's just the tits. It's zero tolerance. It's also the only one I've got a case for, because when it comes to collecting for Megadrive, I just care about the cartridge. I'm not I don't like to say obsessive collector, because I am when it comes to Master System to a degree. But we won't waffle on about that. We're just going to focus on the genre we're covering today. This is zero tolerance. You're treated to a text story with a nice graphic at the back. But before that, I just want you to focus more on the title screen. Look at the way that moves. That is really awesome. I'm struggling to think of a Megadrive game that does that, other than this one, of course. I can't think of another one that does it. If you can, put in the comments. I would love to know. Chances are it's an obvious one and I'm just being thick and can't think of it. That's the most real possibility there, but nah. You get to pick from a bunch of different characters. All of them have a little bit of a backstory, bits of their personality, all that kind of shit. Then you get to the actual gameplay. And this is where I find it strange that this one was voted more popular than Bloodshot. Bloodshot has a bigger amount of the screen dedicated to what's happening in the game. Zero Tolerance has less. Don't get me wrong, the bit at the bottom with the map, it's more detailed, it's more user-friendly. Plus, you can actually pause the game at any time and see the map in a more detailed way. Very useful. I love that. If Corporation had that one feature, I reckon I could get on board with it so much more, because I would have a fucking clue where to go. The character card on the bottom right, I don't think that's necessary. That just doesn't need to be there, but it is there, so why bitch? The frame rate is much like Bloodshot. It's not epic, it's not brilliant, but it's fine. You get used to it pretty quick. The enemies seem to come out of fucking nowhere, even though the map, that wonderful map, gives you a good indication where them fuckers are. But they just seem to come flying around the corner, and thank fuck that on level 1 I get a shotgun. What does every first-person shooter in the world need? Shotguns. If there's ever one out there that doesn't have a shotgun, fuck off, I'm not going to play it. You've done it wrong. It's a shotgun, mate. I'm not the kind of person that stands back and gets really good aim and snipers and run in there and go, nah, bang! That's me. I know that's not a very, finesse way of doing things, but fuck it! I want to see things just explode and fly and blood and bugger it. I don't care. So when these enemies come flying at you, I can send them right fucking flying back. All with the power of the shotgun. And the idea of the game is very simple. Travel around and kill everything. In short, I can see why this is apparently the most loved first-person shooter on the Mega Drive. It does make sense. I still kind of lean towards Bloodshot more. That's my preference, but I get why so many people like this one. I mean, just look at it. Everything about it is fun. It's a good, fun game. Only thing, if I could change one thing, would just be the bit where you see the gameplay. I would like that to be bigger. Get rid of the character card, or if you want to have the character card, just have the profile shot, you know, like this bit where the face is. You don't need all of this crap to the side of it. You can do away with that. I mean, you clearly could do away with that, because on the other side of the screen, over here, there's nothing. There's this silly little detail with black and green, and it's nothing. It doesn't need to be there. So you could, like, have the map in a corner, and maybe, if you want, your character in another corner, and just more game footage. I understand that Mega Drive-wise, you couldn't really have the entire screen taken up, because maybe that would be tough for the programmers back then. Nowadays, I'm sure it'd be an easier task for a games developer or whatever, but I don't know that kind of shit, so I can't say. But it makes sense that the reason they've done this sort of stuff is, I don't know, to make more movement, they had to use less space. I guess. Really don't know, but that's the logical thing going on in my head. And now we move on to the final game of the day. And I know you see it right there in the background, and you don't believe me. It's Toy Story. Yes, I know Toy Story is a platformer. It's a bloody fun platformer, and it's got some really nice animations and all of this shit. It's a very, very good game with a lot of variety. It's a bit fucking tough at times. I didn't grow up with the Megadrive one, I grew up with the Game Boy version. That's the sort of thing where people would pity me. Like, you know, everyone's like, I had Street Fighter 2 on the Super Nintendo. Or, I had Street Fighter 2 on the Megadrive. I had it on the Game Boy. And it's the same fucking scenario with Toy Story. I had it on the Game Boy. If you want to see a Let's Play of that, let me know in the comments. I'll throw it in there sometime. We'll do it. But anyway, what the fuck has this got to do with first-person shooters? Well, the game, nothing. A level, quite a lot. There's one level where you gotta get the little three-eyed alien fuckers that remind me of the fish from The Simpsons into the chambery what's-it where the grabby machine is. So Woody just runs around and does that. It's such a shit that this level has a timer. Because I would love to be able to, I don't know, take it in more, play this level more, experience this level more. But there's a fucking time limit. Also, did you hear that? My neighbour is an absolute cunt. The music here is, you know, is what you'd expect. There's nothing wrong with it. But graphically, you have to admit, you're like, where did this come from? This is pretty awesome. It's great. But what's really awesome here, the frame rate is the best out of all the games we've seen today. It takes up the entire screen, this game. There's no bollocks in the corners. There's none of that shit. Everything is dedicated to the game. It moves so smoothly. It sounds great. It looks great. Like, how come one bloody level of Toy Story has got this so awesomely done? And you look at the aliens, the way they move, it's like, you've clearly nailed the animations. There's so much. And this is one level. The other games we've mentioned today do not have this level of quality throughout an entire game. Don't get me wrong, them games are all great fun, except Corporation. They're worth playing, they're worth checking out, they're worth experiencing. And yet, in one bloody level, this thing seems to have conquered the visuals. It's like, there's fucking Toy Story. I mean, there's a racing game in Toy Story. There's your typical platforming racing and shit and blah, blah. What I'm saying is, there's a variety of like mini games and things to do in fucking Toy Story on the Mega Drive. And one of the mini games is this, the first-person shooter bit, and they've just nailed it, haven't they? Look at it. Then look at Corporation. Then look at Bloodshot. Then look at fucking Star Cruiser. Then look at Zero Tolerance. And now it's back to this. You can see why I've left this one last. It's because I wanted to go out on a high note today, and I'm just stunned by this fucking thing on Toy Story. It's mad. It's stupid and it's mad. Anyway, that is all the first-person shooter games I have to talk about. And I wouldn't be surprised if that's all of them on the Mega Drive. They're all the ones I could find, surprisingly. There may be more in Japan. Star Cruiser was the only one I could find, but there may be more. Maybe. So, I'm not saying that there isn't. I'm just saying that I don't fucking know. It seems to be the safest thing to say about pissing anyone off and then having the comments have a go at me. Yay! Anyway, if you would like a certain genre to be talked about, doesn't have to be Mega Drive, it could be Saturn, Master System, anything, let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, please click like. Please leave a comment regarding some of the stuff we talked about. And if you haven't already, there's a lovely subscribe button over there that needs clicking. Now you want it, please, for fuck's sake. Anyway, that's enough of my rambling. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.